Hello, 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 everyone. It is your girl, Miss Natalie B. And as you might have seen on the page, our apologies. We are moving a little behind today. We are having some technical issues, but that's okay because tech ain't gonna stop no show over here. No, it will not. And it's Friday, y'all, and it's well after 6 o'clock. But it is Free Your Mind Friday with the Healing Academy. And like I said, it's your girl Natalie B. And tech ain't gonna stop no show over here. We gonna figure it out. And it's another amazing Friday. Today was another beautiful Friday. And I hope you guys out there was having a beautiful day today as well. We gonna have fun today. We are going to have fun for a few different reasons. One, Molly's coming through. She on her way in right now. Two, we gonna finish the conversation on spirituality. And that's always fun. Getting right with self, getting right with the universe. We gonna put you on game today. And we're gonna do it by educating you with the lovely, amazing Miss Oduda Maali, the goddess herself. And we're gonna get to know about her and when she started her spiritual journey and how important it is to her life and her artistry. So I am excited. It's saying it's adding you now, sis. I see you in the comments. So you should be coming up shortly. It's saying adding. So hopefully it'll bring you up soon. But yes, Miss Tatiana Kelly, Oduda Maali, will be joining us. We'll get to know about her spiritual practices, her spiritual journey, and how it relates to her artistry. For those of you who are not familiar with Miss Oduda Maali, she is an amazing poet, an amazing poet. She is a freestyle poet, which I love, 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 love. Because I am as well at times just going off the top and letting flow through her. Hello, sis. How are you?
Hey, I'm
Oh,
doing
you
all
got
right.
accent. Who you all next touch? Okay. I'm also digging this hair wrap, sis.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
No worries. I was letting the people know a little bit about you, but you are here now, so you can feel free to do that. What is your artistry? Tell us about you. Just a brief
All right.
introduction.
So I am Tatiana Oduda Maali, and I am a spoken word artist. I am also a business owner. I currently own Peace of Mind Dessert and Specialty Shop on 71st Stewart or right off Stewart. And I believe in I believe in allowing all of my life to be led by my intuition and by spirit. So all that I do, I sincerely believe is in alignment with that.
And so I was telling the people right before you hopped on about you being a freestyle spoken word artist and how you let the energy just flow through you. You also have Tweaker, hair wraps and accessories. Come for this hair wraps, sis. Giving me all types of goddess energy with that. And so over the course of this conversation, we're gonna talk. We're just gonna get to know you. If you would like to freestyle a piece, that energy and that space is open to you as well. But the question that I asked all the guests for Free Your Mind Friday this time around is, when did you fall in love with whatever the topic is? So, oh, it looks like we lost you there, sis. No worries. We'll give you time to come back again because technical difficulties will not stop us today. Not today. It will not. So we're gonna keep going, y'all. Bear with us as we deal with these tech issues. Tatiana will be back in with us and she will answer the question, which is, when did you fall in love with spirituality and when did spirituality join into your life and your artistry? So I'm excited for her to answer that question as she's starting to come back in now. But you all can answer that question too. So go ahead and drop down in the comments. Let us know when you fall in love with spirituality. When spirituality become a major part of your life? Or when did you start your journey? So, hey, welcome back, sis. Uh-oh, looks like you're freezing a bit. Oh, no. All right. Again, tech is not going to stop us today. Okay. So we are going to work out these technical glitches for y'all. But until then, we're going to talk spirituality. We started on Tuesday talking about spirituality with the Breathe experience, of course, every Tuesday at 6 p.m. And we mentioned a few different things on spirituality. One was how spirituality is not exclusive um, to religion, it can be different. And it's okay. I think one major thing that's important to remember when talking about spirituality and defining it for yourself, because that's something you definitely have to do. You have to define it for yourself. I think mainstream media and the society we lived in has kind of demonized the word. So when you hear spirituality, you start to think on some other stuff. But, and especially for the people out there that are religious, it gets a negative connotation. But to me, spirituality is simply just getting to know the spirit within this body, this being that we dwell in. Our spirits are the part of us that's alive, it inhabits this body. And so, if we aren't spiritual beings, if we aren't tapping into that spiritual nature that we should be tapping into, which is ourselves, which is getting to know this being within this vessel, then we're doing ourselves a disservice because we are spirits. I think of it as this, and I said it this way on Tuesday on the brief experience, is when you think about it as far as life and death, when someone passes away, when someone dies, this outside shell, the body, is still left here, but the spirit is what's gone, which is why the body is left behind. The spirit is somewhere else, right? So that's the part of us, this thing that makes us move and talk and think and feel, this thing within us. That's the spirit. So we all should be spiritual and be getting and giving ourselves time to connect with that thing, with who we really are and what we are meant to do here on this earth. I don't think we were just sent here to just simply be drifting in the wind. And I think that comes with, again, defining what spirituality is for yourself, and really getting to know the you within, that being within. Who is it? What does he or she want? That's spirituality to me. And then finding a practice, which is termed the spiritual practice, that helps to amplify who you are, who that being within this vessel is. And so some people use yoga, some people use meditation, chakras. We also talked about on Tuesday on the Breathe Experience. Dion Victoria talked to us about chakras. We also posted yesterday about chakras and how that connects to your spiritual health and your physical health, right? And a lot of people don't think about it that way, but if the being within is the one that's inhabiting this body, that's basically in control, and that's the one running the show. Wouldn't it make sense that if our spiritual selves are not okay, that our physical vessel will not be okay? I don't think we go that far as thinking into it, but it makes sense. we are we're not trained or taught to think in this way, but the spirit is what's real. The spirit is what's real. And some people get spiritual relief or upliftment from religion. We talked on Tuesday, me and Dion Victoria, on our personal experiences, and for me, the spirituality element was strengthened actually when I left all forms of religion. And that's not saying that you can't be spiritual and be religious. You definitely can. But for me, I wanted to go with what was source, what was first before um, all of the books that were written, Bible, Quran, what have you. What was first and what genuinely benefits the planet, benefits my spirit, and benefits life. And that is honoring what was first, which was loving and respecting yourself, loving and respecting others, loving and respecting this planet that we live on, period. And making those agreements with yourself and watching life flourish. So that is what connects to my spirit. And again, we all have to figure out what spirituality is to us as individuals, and we all have to figure out what works best for us. And so, again, there's different ways to tune into spirituality. For me, I became more spiritual. And some of the things that happen in our day-to-day life that we may not even consider being spiritual can be spiritual. You can take spiritual baths. There's different things you can do with that that'll help you connect to spirit. You see people on social media. Some people may not even know what it is, but people with Palo Santo and sage, that connects with spirit. That's clearing out energy and welcoming in positive energy and vibrations. And for those of you who may think that's a little weird or interesting, think of it this way: it's scientifically proven. Scientifically proven. You guys can go look at this research that there is energy, an energy field around us. That's our aura. Everybody has that. Some people are great people. Some people are amazing people. Some people have negative energy. Some people aren't that great. And you know that from interacting with people. So why is it so crazy that we use herbs and sage and Palo Santo, which is holy wood, and these different types of things to clear and cleanse energy and promote positive energy? So I think when we think about and start to talk about spirituality, we have to get rid of the stigmas and the myths and the fact that it's so far out, strange, or different. Is really just tapping into what our ancestors have been doing since the beginning of time that we actually got away from. We're not necessarily in harmony with the world and the universe anymore, but we need to. Hey, sis, welcome back. Hey, hey. So I was just welcoming the guests, telling them a little bit about spirituality, what it is to me. I definitely want to know what spirituality is to you. But my giving my definition is just tapping into yourself, tapping into that being that lives within this vessel and figuring out why it's here, finding peace, and tapping to the universe and all that's around you, getting into alignment. And that is simple as that. It can be as simple as that. So that's a little bit about what I was the audience, but I have a few questions for you. The first question being, when did you fall in love with spirituality?
So, hmm, like I said, spirituality has been a lifelong journey for me.
Mm-hmm.
I was raised in a church where I was very active. We went to church almost 6 days out of the week, up until until I became an adult, and it was my decision to kind of go when I wanted to. And for me, spirituality is more than just a belief system. It's a way of life. It's a it's a guideline. It's connected completely and utterly with one and the divine, like yourself and the divine. I do believe in a most high energy. I believe also in an ancestral energy. I believe that we have what I like to call a spiritual council, which involves multiple things. I have moved out of the understanding that there is just this one ideal of reaching the divine, right? I believe that there are many ways to reach the divine. I believe we can do it through meditation. I believe it can be reached through dance, song. I believe it can be reached through um, words, any use of words, which is why I utilize spoken word as one of my main tools for um, releasing the message from the divine. Because words have power. They are the main source, from my understanding, that leads to creation. Right? We
Mm,
create things in our mind first, right? But to get to a point where you're actually speaking those things, that's when they find their way into existence. I believe that manifestation has to come first by what by first speaking. those things. So yeah, so spirituality is, it's an intimate thing, right? It's something that is, like I said, between self and the divine. And I think that the more we get into a place of really initiating and learning to utilize our own intuition when it comes to spirituality, I think that that's when we find ourselves living life with um, living life without fear. You know
Mm,
what I mean? Like living life without hesitation. Because once you get to a point of truly developing a relationship with spirit, an intuitive relationship with spirit, you can build confidence in knowing that the steps that you make are designed and aligned for you reaching your goals. Um, Most recently, my spiritual journey became a little bit different. I fell in love with a more ancient tradition of spirituality, which is the, I guess you can call it chematology. It's more of the Kemetic spirituality that is present on the walls of the pyramids in Egypt and things like that. And so that's something that about a year ago I got introduced to, and I've recently kind of connected with and fell in love with, because it is, in my opinion, all encompassing. It
mm,
doesn't, it puts me in a position where I don't have to um, hinder or neglect certain parts of myself or certain parts of my gifting. And so I have found a group of people who have been a part of that spirituality for a very long time. I actually went through a rites of passage called Sacred Woman with Queen Afua last winter, and I ascended in January of 2020. And the whole year of 2020, I spent that year really digging into the different things that I learned while being in that rites of passage.
mm,
And now I'm currently entering into another rites of passage that utilizes some of the same practices, the same understanding, and the same knowledge. But it also goes a little bit deeper in you really finding out a lot about your own self and your family, and connecting your life's existence with the people who you chose to be in this world with.
mm,
And so that's currently where I am in my path of spirituality. I'm still growing, um, and I'm still learning, and there are a lot of things that I don't know, but I'm enjoying being in a position where I can experience all that the divine has to offer, and I can do it in a loving environment. Um, you know, I remember growing up in the church and it being a very negative thing to honor or speak to your ancestors, right? And that became a very difficult thing for me because I have always felt, the presence of my ancestors around me ever since I was a child. My mother used to tell me that I would bring her messages ever, when I was younger. And not being able to fully explore that part of myself in a religious setting made it very difficult for me to truly love all of who I was.
mm,
And because it made it difficult for me to love these things about myself, it made me question, if there is this one true God, why would he give me the ability, or, you know, have me feel in my heart that I am doing, that this is something that God has like really ushered into my life,
right,
but yet the system that I'm being brought up in is telling me that it's demonic and that of it's not of God. And so that was really conflicting for me for a very long time. But this new path that I'm on is like, no, our ancestors are here to guide us. Our ancestors are here to show us and help us in ways, in another realm that we cannot see,
Mm.
right? And so that alone has made it so much more easier for me to live a life of spiritual, live a life of spirit, live a life with spirit, because I am fully and utterly connected to all of the things, um, that I have access to, right? Both spiritual and natural. But that's all that I would say.
I think you said a lot of amazing points, and one of them, I'm going to say the points first so that I don't forget as I start elaborating on the other points. But one was using your artistry to express
Mm-hmm.
and dive into and connect to the divine in your spirituality. And so you use spoken word, but I love how you mentioned the other forms that can be used, like dance is definitely
Mm-hmm.
playing drums is definitely one of them. So all of these different ways that you can connect to divine energy and tap into your spirituality through the things that you love to do or your talents. Oh, I see a baby. Say
Baby got
yeah.
to go ahead and pull over on the road because my little lady here hears you talking and she wants to know what's going on.
Understandable. Understandable. Hello. Hello, you're curious? You're curious? Yes. She like, let me in on this spirituality conversation. She need this
Oh
info
yeah.
too. I know you need this info, little mama. We're gonna raise up the children right. So you mentioned the creative aspect, and we talked a little bit about the creative aspect on Tuesday with the breathe experience and how you can tap in that way. But one thing that I really love that you mentioned was the ancestral part of that, and how
Mm-hmm.
tapping into our ancestral plane and their energy and how they're still here to guide us is one of the parts, because we talked about how spirituality can be this controversial thing because of society and the way that they structure things and how they control the narrative. But that's what our
Mm-hmm.
ancestors have done since forever. We honor our ancestors, and the further we get away from honoring our ancestors, remembering our ancestors, and welcome them in to guide us and protect us and teach us, then we get more and more lost in the sauce, for lack of better words. So I really
Right.
love that you brought that up. So what are some ways that you honor and welcoming in your ancestors and their presence and what they have for you?
So for me, I hold on, I lost the screen. Um,
We still got you. Oh, we did. At least we did. But all right, everybody, it's a great time for a check-in. You are tuned in to Free Your Mind Friday with the Healing Academy, and we are talking about spirituality today, you all. This is the Spirituality Week. We started on Free Your Mind. I'm sorry, we started on the Breathe Experience, and we're continuing here on Free Your Mind Friday. And we have the lovely Miss Oduda Maali on the line with us, whom we are talking to about her spirituality and her journey and when she fell in love with spirituality and where she is now. She's that in her creative practice. Hey sis, welcome back.
I know. I appreciate y'all patience with me today. Like this is, I'm doing my best to, keep cool because it's a little frustrating to say the least.
No worries. We ain't gonna let this tech get the better of us. We got this, okay? Gonna tap into that spiritual energy and woosah.
I know. Look, for real. It's like I'm like, Mommy, is this a test? Look.
It might be. Listen, we were just talking about the spiritual element of tapping in and connecting with our ancestors. They like, it's all right, baby.
So,
It's all right.
mm, so one of the ways that I honor my ancestors is through prayer. Um, Also through libations. I pour libations anytime I go to my altar. I have altar space at home. And then also when we have like family gatherings, one of the most recent times that we honored our ancestors as a family was for the last day of Kwanzaa, which was January 1st, for our day of feast. And then also too, that's something that I have started to do is to get into these feast days. And basically, a feast day is a day where you that is designed to honor a certain spiritual element. And in those moments, I also honor my ancestors at that time too. When we do that though, when I go through the process of actually doing a day of feast, I actually make a plate for my ancestors. I leave it out, and sometimes I may even take the food and bury it, somewhere under a tree or something like that. And other times, it becomes a little what I would describe as being petrified. Like the plate looks like okay, it looks like it may have been consumed in a way. You know what I mean? So that's one way. And then I also leave out spirits like whiskey. That's a really a big way to honor the ancestors. The ancestors enjoy their spirits. So.
And the thing about that is we do certain things and we don't know why we do them, but they tap into our ancestral history of spirituality. Like one thing is pouring out liquor for the homies, right?
Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
that's libation. That's
Yeah.
libation, and we don't even know it, right? But we
Mhm.
demonize spirituality or connecting to our ancestors, but you low key doing it. Like you just don't know
Right.
why or where it came from, but you're doing it. You're honoring your ancestors, a fallen homie or whoever it was, and you're pouring out that libation to them. Doing it consciously though is on a whole nother level because you're literally welcoming them into your life, and it's not just the one who may have just passed away but your lineage of ancestral line. And I think that can help melanated people in a few different ways because one, when we were brought to this country, our spirituality was taken away from us. We couldn't
Right.
necessarily practice what we wanted to. We were indoctrinated with Christianity. And I know you actually have a story about that from your trip to Kenya about the
Oh.
indoctrination of Christianity on the continent, actually, but definitely here in Americas. But when we did practice our spirituality, if we take it back to the continent, like you said, it's written on the Egyptian walls what our ancestors did, and we have traces of that. But when we really sit down and learn how we connect to this ancestral line, it can do some powerful things. And
Mhm.
outside of that, again, what makes it really special, I think, for African American people, melanated people on this continent, is that a lot of us don't know too much of our ancestral line. So
Mhm.
sitting down and being willing and ready and able to call their names, you have to do the research. You have to ask the question. So one thing that it's doing for me is it's actually starting me on. I started this, I believe, at the beginning of the quarantine, where I started reaching out to the elders of my family, which are all down south, and I'm like, please start writing down lists. Whoever you can remember, if you have obituaries, whatever it is, start creating this storage of information for me because I want to piece it together. I want to know who those ancestors were. And there's different ways you can do that. You know, there's the libraries that have a lot of information and obituaries and different things like that. But it's starting me on a journey where I want to know their names. I want to know who these people are. I want to know what they did because that's me. I am them. I am their legacy, right? And so I want to know what they did, how that relates to me and what I do and why it's important. And then I want to be able to call them by name because their life was important because without them I couldn't be here. And I think that's what's really special to me about honoring our ancestors. We can't forget them because
Yeah.
without them there would be no us. So that's one critical point I definitely wanted to hit on when it comes to spirituality is honoring our ancestors and how it's not demonic to call
Mhm.
them. ancestors. And if we really think about like if we really think about these things, again, it's who's telling the story, who's creating these narratives that we're believing. um and we talked about how spirituality and religion are two separate things, and they can coexist as well, because a lot of say Christians are afraid, or they shy away from anything when the word spirituality is said. They're like, oh, I'm Christian. Okay. But you can you can still, and probably should still, be spiritual, because you have a spirit, and that's what spirituality is all about. Okay. All right. So, how do you think, what's one way that we can start changing that narrative, and kind of reprogramming people's minds to truly being open, and to truly, one, understand what spirituality is?
Um, Honestly, I believe that it's something that has to be self-led. Like I I I've gotten into the one of the things that I believe is problematic with a lot of religious platforms is this idea that we have to go and gather others to believe and function the way that we believe, right? And we're always looking for a way to get people to truly understand our point of view and our perspective. But I think that just by living in truth, living in authenticity, and if you are one of spirit and you live in spirit, I think that that in and of itself will draw people to you who will then begin to ask questions on what do you do? You know, what is it about you? Like one of the things that has really happened in my life in this last like 2 years or so since I've had my shop open is many people come in and I find myself having spiritual conversations with them, and it's like, and that it's a dessert shop, you know what I mean? So, but it's something about the fact that because I've made the decision to live in spirit, people walk in and they notice something, right? Or they are already in a place in their life where they're inquisitive, they're inquiring about some things um that they're discovering, and they come in and something in their spirit says, hey, ask her. And so I think that the only way to truly guide others into a place of authenticity is for you yourself to be authentic, right? If you want to guide people and help them find true spirituality, then make a commitment to live in spirituality. And as you do that, people will naturally be attracted to you and you will reach that goal. Like it's not like you got to go out and search for people. They find you, they come to you, and they will notice uh, that aspect of your life, even when you try to hide it, because trust, I tried hiding it many times, but it always finds its way to the forefront no matter what. uh, but that would be, I think, my way of helping others to find that place.
Okay, so finding it within yourself and living in that true energy, and it'll reach the masses. And I think that's very much so true. I found that to be true within myself. When you start moving a certain way and you're in alignment, everything kind of gravitates around that. Whether you like make a conscious decision for that to happen or not, you'll see how things start flowing into place, and people who are like-minded and energies that are like-minded will gravitate to you. And it's kind of being that beacon of light, being the change you want to see type of thing. And that happens
Yeah.
in a few different ways. So I appreciate that. I definitely appreciate that. So when it comes to spirituality and it comes to really living in that, what would be one way that you would say living and walking on a spiritual path has changed your life?
um it has it has helped me to understand that I'm worthy of living a life on earth fully blessed, right?
Mm,
um and it has helped me to acknowledge the fact that suffering and poverty and all those things are not something that uh is um a destiny or a or something that is designed for me. That just because I was born into it doesn't mean that I have to stay there.
Come on.
And it has helped me to truly take control of my own life and not just let things happen, but to make a request for the things that I desire. But after making that request, truly believe that I should be rewarded. You know what I mean? That I should receive. And so my spiritual walk has helped me to be in that place of not apologizing for my desire to want to be wealthy,
Come
to want to be healthy, um, to want to be able to see all ends of the earth and visit different continents. Like, and then it has put me in a position to say that you can have it. And I no longer feel ashamed of those desires, right? Because they, uh, the desires of our hearts are put there for a reason. They've been put there by the divine. And we have these desires in order to create a opportunity for ourselves and even sometimes for others to reach that. So for me, that's the biggest change that I think my recent spiritual journey has done. It has put me in a position to not just give my divine power to others, but to learn how to utilize it for myself.
That's powerful, sis. If it wasn't there other words spoke today, that's a word. And there was some other words spoken. But that one right there, that's a word. I love that because it's so true. What I've learned from my own like spiritual journey is that a lot of times beforehand I was giving my power. It was to
Mm-hmm.
someone else. It was like life was happening to me and I didn't have much control about it. I just had to let be, you know? Um,
Mm-hmm.
but tapping into your spiritual self is tapping into your power. Like that's literally what it is. It's tapping into spirit is tapping into power. It's like a well and you just and then oil came flowing out. You rich. You rich. Like you rich. And you're rich because now you know that you can create your reality. You're rich
Yeah.
because now you know you can manifest exactly what you want. And the craziest part is before I really got tapped in, I was doing it. I just didn't know that I was doing it. And but once you know, you can do it even more. So you have the tools to do it. You have the confidence to do it, and you know exactly what's happening when it's going down.
Mm-hmm.
And it's taking your power back. It's tapping into your power. It's tapping into the unlimited possibility of what this experience can be. And I think that's one thing that I really want people to take away from tapping into getting to know self and tapping into spirit. You're tapping to unlimited possibilities because you create your reality. And I think
Yeah.
that's something that people idolize within other people, but they don't understand that they can do it too. Like when we look at celebrities and musicians and Beyonce and like all of these guys, them we look up to them like, man, they just amazing. But you're amazing too. And I think that's the thing that
Mm-hmm.
spirituality can show you is that you're amazing too. And they are not
Mm-hmm.
different from you. They just tapped in some things that you ain't tapped into yet.
Right.
And so that's powerful, sis. That's powerful. And I'm glad that you tapped in and that you getting that energy and using that energy. And we're gonna continue to grow in that energy because I think again, going back to what I was saying earlier, when it comes to spirituality, we're doing spiritual things that we don't know are ancestrally spiritual things that we were supposed
Mm-hmm.
to anyway. Because it's so built into us. We just have to understand that it's okay to go to those places. It's okay to tap into that piece of yourself that's saying, try this. You know, it's
Mm-hmm.
okay. It's all right. If your mind is telling you to do it, give it a try. See what it is. It's not gonna hurt you. And changing that narrative. And so yeah, and finding that courage to do it. So that's amazing, Sue. If you could encourage one thing that if someone is interested in their spiritual journey and really tapping into self. Actually, I'm gonna give you one better because I'm gonna give you three. I know one be hard, so I'm gonna give you three.
Okay.
One be real hard, like one thing. I'm gonna give you three things. Top three things that you can advise people if they are looking to start their spiritual journey and really just tap into self and figure out what that is. What would you advise them to do? Simple beginner thing.
um, to a beginner is to look up different forms of meditation,
Mm.
um, to try out the ones that resonate with you, and build a a meditation, I want to say habit, or but a meditation schedule. Like if
Mm.
you can commit to meditating for even just 10, 15 minutes a day for like 21 days or a month, I think that that is going to really truly shift some things internally. um, and then the second thing I would say is
You move off meditation.
being,
Why do you think meditation is so important?
because meditation is about self-reflection. It helps you get into a position to look inside, to be, to take a moment to be internal. So much of the world that we live in is external. It's all about what we do, where we go, who we interact with, and even on our phones, everything is external. Like we were even, like you were just talking about giving away your power. Like sometimes we're giving away our power to these social platforms. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
meditation it positions you to put that power back inside, to put that power with self. And it can be difficult in the beginning, which is why I say, to someone just starting, make a commitment to 10 to 15 minutes a day and just do it every day, even if it's just sit in silence. you
Mm-hmm.
know One of the first forms of meditation that I tried that kind of helped open a door for me was something called mindful meditation. And what that does is, I think that that one was easier for me because I hadn't gotten to the place of practicing stilling, getting my mind to be still and quiet. So mindful meditation allows your mind to move, but what it does is it causes you to focus on different things. So while you're sitting, you will begin to become mindful of the things around you. Like if, a breeze blows through the window, you actually say, okay, I can feel the breeze coming into the window. Or, I just felt the breeze upon my ankle. Those things while you're sitting kind of makes you mindful of the little things around you that you probably would naturally ignore.
It makes you present,
Um, it makes you present. And
and
so
we
for
are so
me,
not
that's the
present.
first
People
time.
are not present. Like in 2021, we are not present.
Not at all.
As-
So that was the first form of meditation that I did. And once I felt comfortable in that type of meditation, I began to look at other forms and try other forms until I got to a place where I can now, sit in silence and really allow myself to go within. Um, and so, yeah, that, to me, I think that that's a really great place to start, because one, if someone is coming out of a religious mindset or religious background, meditation is something that they can do without feeling guilty or feeling bad about it, right? Because meditation is, like I said, it's a quieting practice, it's an internal practice, it's a self awareness type thing. Um,
What's funny actually
and
that you just said that. On Tuesday, we mentioned how how some religious people think meditation is exclusive to other things, and they don't know that it's mentioned several times throughout the Bible. And then and they're like, meditate. It's like, but in the Bible it says meditate, right? It says that a
yeah,
few
it
other
says
things.
to pray and meditate. It
Meditate.
says to
It's in
pray and
the Bible,
meditate.
so it's okay. Like, but
Girl, look, people don't read. People don't
a
read.
lot of times we blindly go with what we're told. And I think that's what's so important about spirituality too. Like, you have to find it for yourself. You have to do these things and research and figure things out for yourself in spirituality. And it's, you know, winding up those critical thinking gears and that self initiative and all of that. But what is your second must do for people on the beginning of their spiritual journey or looking into starting one?
The second thing is be open to researching other uh, forms of spirituality,
Mm-hmm.
right? Um, and not so much like practice them all, right? But learn a little bit about their spirituality or spiritual practices. And I would say just pick one or two, right, that resonate with you. And in those one or two, look at the one that you feel your heart is being drawn to, and then maybe, initiate some form of practice within it. And once you go there, like the last thing that I would say is find a community, find
Mm-hmm.
others who are um, practicing the way that you practice, and journey who are on the journey and path that you're on, because it's always better to have someone to journey with,
Right.
because it can get a little scary, being in an unfamiliar place, not really knowing where you are, or what you're doing. So I would definitely say find a community, find someone who is probably entering the journey with you, and then an elder who has been in the journey for a while who can.
Absolutely. I think that's amazing. Those 3 points, I was sitting here writing them down. I'm like, okay. Mm-hmm. Those are like that. That's perfect. I think those are the perfect starting points because as I think about it, not necessarily meditation. I'm still working on meditation myself, y'all. I'm working
it,
on
it
meditation.
takes it takes some time. Okay.
I'm
Look.
still working on that one myself. But the other two was definitely the start to my spiritual journey. Research was the first key that had me kind of maneuver my thinking and say, all right, what's real? What's source? What's going on? So research was definitely first, and then I didn't like purposefully go seek the community. I call it tribe, but it happened.
Right.
Like that's another thing that I was saying, like that just manifested once I changed my mind. Free Your Mind Friday is called Free Your Mind Friday because once you free your mind, you free your life. You all the shackles
Yeah.
fall away, and you know that you can create your universe. So that's why it's called Free Your Mind Friday. For those of you, I don't think I ever fully explained that, but that's why this is called Free Your Mind Friday. And that's what happened. Like you walked into my life, Dion walked into my life. All these people who are on a spiritual journey, on a spiritual path, and dive. And I am super grateful to all of you for doing that.
Yeah.
For showing up. Even though you didn't know I called you. Y'all answered the call, okay?
Look,
Y'all
I
didn't know
called
I
you
called you,
too.
but you
I
answered
called
anyway.
you too.
But see, when you in alignment, you in alignment, people show up. We looking for each other. That's your tribe. So find a tribe. If you ain't going out willingly like Googling tribes, okay, call them. Put
Right.
that energy in the universe, okay, and they will find you. Like if you build it, they will come.
Exactly. Yeah.
If you build it, they will come. And y'all showed up. Like y'all, as soon as that mind switch went off, I literally was like, I need a new group of friends. I need people that are moving away. I'm moving and thinking, and y'all was like, boop boop boop. All of y'all just showed up. So I would definitely say those are three amazing things to start your spiritual journey off with. And if you had like a bonus plug for them, what would that be?
Um, bonus. Honestly, I would just say read.
Yeah, it's
Like
free in your mind,
get
getting
you
knowledge.
to because a lot of stuff on the internet is not going to give you exactly what you're looking for. But finding a good book, looking to other spiritual books that are written, I think that is going to help you develop a more well-rounded foundation in spirituality.
Okay. So I'm gonna recap this list for everybody who's out there watching, or if you're watching later, it went up on YouTube and all that greatness. This is Tatiana Kelly, also known as the goddess Oduda Maali. Okay, I'm hitting you with your beginner's guide to spirituality. And I had to say it like that. Your beginner's guide to spirituality by Oduda
I
Maali.
like that. I like that.
All right, number one is meditation. Find meditation and add it into your spiritual practice. And this is basically what these three and a bonus things are doing. It's starting your spiritual practice, right? And or your spiritual routine. And it's important because if you don't make it important, you're not going to do it, especially starting off. If you don't make it important, it's going to fall to the wayside. So you have to set time out and make these things important. As when you're doing anything new or learning anything new, you have to practice it, right? Hence spiritual practice. So meditation is step one on your beginner's guide to spirituality by Oduda Maali. Find and make time about 10 to 15 minutes a day to still yourself, still your mind, center your thoughts, and be present, because we are not present in 2021. There's too many external things happening. You got Facebook, you got phone calls, you got work, you got kids, you got all this other stuff. Center yourself for about 10 to 15 minutes to start. And dive into meditation. It's not the easiest thing in the world to shut your mind off after it goes a mile a minute for forever, but it can be done and it will improve your life greatly. So meditation. Thank you, sis, for that one. Second on the list is research. Do your research. Do your research. Everybody out there, please do your research. Do your research. Get those wheels turning and figure out what works for you. So research which spiritual practices work for you, which ones you're interested in, which ones you're not. It's okay. It's your spiritual journey. It's your spiritual practices. So it's about what works for you. Okay. And then next, find a community. So important. Your community will hold you accountable. Again, we call it the tribe. Okay. Tribe, gang, gang, squad, squad, squad. Okay. Your spiritual gang. Go find them. All right. And I mean, like-minded people that are on the same journey, embarking on the same journey, already been on this journey since. You need a collective group so that you can pick their brains. They can hold you accountable. They can help guide you to have intelligent conversations when you get scared, because you're like, what am I doing and where am I? They can help you along that way. So man, tribe is so important, especially when you like, hey, I want to start a family. Try but babysit your kids, man. Like, try. Find you a community of like-minded people and become family. Like, really become family with people that are on the same path as you. That's like life-changing. That note, if that's just the one you take, that one right there. And then lastly, bonus plug for Oduda Maali, Beginner's Guide to is read a book. I don't know if y'all ever heard that Lil Jon song from forever ago. Read a book, read a book, read a book. You heard it, sis. Okay, all right. Read a book. Read a book. You definitely can.
You were recapping something else.
Give it to the people, sis.
Is to take what resonates. Right? Don't try to do it all. Don't go out here and start doing 50 million rituals, doing meditation, yoga, Pilates. Take your time. Like, give yourself time to develop and learn versus trying to rush in and change everything instant.
I'm gonna make a post about this, by the way, and it'll be on the page for everybody so y'all can see Tatiana. That's what it's gonna be the title of the post. I'm gonna make it pretty and everything. We're gonna hook it up with the
Thank
graphics, and so people can save it and share this because this is important. On how to start this journey, and a lot of people are trying to, because I really feel like we're in an age of awakening, and a lot of
Yeah.
people are like, I don't know what needs to shift, but some need to shift. And they just don't know where to begin. So this is really important. So I will be making this. I'll share it with you. I'll post it to the page for everybody who's watching, or will watch, and because people need to know, they want to know. A lot of people from babies all the way up to elders are like, what's up? What do I do? What do I do? Where do I start? And this is a perfect space to start. And I think that last point you made is super important. What works for you? Everybody's different. Everybody's different.
Mm-hmm.
So what works for me may not work for you, and what works for you may not work for me, and vice versa. We have to figure out what resonates with our soul. Our spiritual practice is ours. So if you don't like doing it, don't do it. Like, figure something else out. It's a whole lot of ways, like you said at the beginning, it's a lot of ways to connect to that divine energy. You just got to figure out your way to connect to that divine energy. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna keep working on meditation, but that one might not be for me.
And that's okay. At least you
And that's
know
all
though.
right. And that's all right. But I am gonna keep trying. Because I'm gonna be honest, I haven't been trying that hard on meditation. But I'm gonna try harder because I do want to get centered. I find myself moving too fast, and I'm like, you know what? Right here. Let me be right here. But I know dance for me is definitely one way. I feel like I let everything go. I'm not thinking about nothing. I'm moving. I'm connecting. I'm with the energy of the music, and I feel like dance and movement is one big way that I connect to it. And I feel so much better afterwards. Like I'm happy afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
Again, even before I started my like sets, I'm on the spiritual practice. If I was mad about something, if something happened, I would. This was in college, so you know we ain't had no real privacy in college. I would just go in the middle of the common room, like in the common space, people walking past me. I don't care. I would just blast music. I would be in the common space, just dancing, flowing with energy, and people just walk past, and I didn't care. But afterwards, it was a release. I felt so much better about whatever it was. I could think clearly about whatever it was. So again, whatever works for you all, figure that out and do that. Thank you for adding that. So okay, we got what now? We got 1, 2, 3, 4. We done made it 5. Top 5 things to do on your spiritual journey when you getting ready to start. So just to recap, meditation, find 10 to 15 minutes. Research, find a spiritual practice that resonates with you, and get knowledge. Gaining knowledge is super important. So you also gonna read more books. Google is one thing, but Google some books to read, okay? Audible if you don't like reading, listen to it, but obtain knowledge from a whole lot of different sources so that you're informed what you're doing and you know what you're doing. Then find a community. Super important, super important. Find your tribe. They're out there. A lot of people are literally just making themselves stay friends with people or stay in connection with family members that they don't even like. Like, find your tribe. They exist. And it may not be the tribe you were born into. Find the people that are looking for you. Your greatness, your mission, your purpose, your drive, your artistry, whatever it is, will be appreciated with your tribe. Find them. Okay. And then whatever it is, make sure it resonates with your soul and your spirit because this is your spiritual practice. Did I get that right, sis?
Yes,
Boom.
absolutely.
We winning.
Mm-hmm.
Enlightening folks everywhere. We winning. All right, sis, we're gonna start winding down. But before we get ready to head out, I hope you enjoyed yourself. I know I did. I'm gonna
I
ask you.
did.
Do you got some divine connection you want to give the people?
Sure, of course. Okay. All right. Um, hear me?
I
Okay.
can't.
Because they look like they paused. You paused.
It did for a slight second, then it came back.
Okay. So first I'm gonna start off with what is our sacred room and prayer, and then we'll see where spirit leads us from there. Okay.
Gotcha.
All right. Sacred Spirit, hold me near. close to your bosom. Protect me from harm and fear beneath the stones of life. Direct my steps in the right way as I journey through this vision. Sacred spirits surround me in your most absolute perfect light. Anoint me in your sacred purity. Give me peace and divine. Bless me. Truly bless me as I share this sacred life. Teach me, sacred spirit, to be in tune with the universe. Teach me how to heal with the inner and outer element of air, fire, water, and earth. To ancestors, to I first like to give honor and thanks to the ancestors and the things that they have done to make a new way. Clearing paths for me and breaking down walls I didn't even know or could not see. Things that were hindering me beyond my eyes is now become clear, and I can see clear into the horizon. I am unafraid and so willing to go forth with power and honor in every day. I extend my heart and love to others so that they can journey in the same way, letting them know completely and utterly that this is your time. Divine and utterly, you have chosen to be alive. So live your life fully, unlike you've ever done before. Be unafraid of the things that may come or seem to destroy. Know that you are more powerful and that you are here in this time, this place, for a reason. Be unafraid, let it go, and let God, because it is and truly, ultimately, your time. You shall be blessed. You shall have wealth. You shall have all the desires from within yourself. You are more than able to do whatever it is that you seek to. So know that the only thing you need is already been given to you. Be unafraid. Go in the doors that may have seemed closed. It says, knock and it shall be open. This is your time. This is your place. And nothing or no one can ever steal the grace that has been given to you. So, peace, love, and abundance are here. And I just thank each and every last one of my cousins, lovers, friends, like all those who have been there for me. Like, I have made a decision to live again because of people like you, Natalie, and I just give thanks for the tribe.
Trap. Yes, that was so dope. I'm gonna be like, yes. Hold on, I got my tambourine. Hold on.
You and this tambourine.
I keep it close, so you never know when you need to shake it. You never know when you need the tambourine. Keep it close by, okay? Oh, sis, that gave me life. I'm just gonna hug myself. Okay. It's my time. Okay. It's my time. I'm connected to the divine. Nothing can stop my shine. You feel me? I'm flowing too, sis. That was a message.
Yes. I know you got freestyle skills. Don't be trying to
Girl, you know, something slight or whatever. But thank you so much, sis. This has been amazing. I'm definitely gonna make this post for this beginner's guide for you and the rest of the people out there who need to know this information. And this has been great. And baby, you ended it with a word, honey. Thank you for whoever sent that to you to give to me and everybody else. But it was for me. It was mine. It hit my spirit. It was for me. It hit my spirit. It's my time. Okay. All right, sis. Well, thank you so much for everybody out there watching. Miss Oduda Maali, the goddess. Hey, yeah. This is my girl, her twin, her identical twin. Yeah. Okay. And sis, before we leave, tell them where they can find you.
So you can find me on Instagram and Facebook. It is Oduda Maali or Tatiana Ellie. And then you can also find me on my business page, which is My Peace of Mind. It's MyPeaceOfMine, and that's on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Hey. And y'all, I'm gonna let y'all know this right now, okay? Oh, don't forget battle rap. Y'all go find battle rap, okay? Go find battle rap because them tweaker rappers be on point. I got a couple over here. Got a couple purses over here, okay? Got a couple earrings over here. Hold on, hold on. This is tweaker piece too.
Yes.
That being right here, that's tweaker. Okay, it's it'll get you right, okay? Wrap them crowns, goddesses. Wrap them crowns. But also, peace of mind. Okay, vegan goods, crystals, seasonings, snacks, smoothies, sea moss, whatever you need. Incense, candle. She got you. Custom tweaker bags. I told you I got a couple of them. I got a problem. It's all right though. Uh, go stop at Peace of Mind. It's popping. If you vegan, if you're not vegan, they got the non-vegan goods. They got the vegan goods. I personally get all the vegan goods. Them ism cakes be popping. But go check out Peace of Mind. Follow her on Facebook, on Instagram. Make sure you support this goddess because she is clearly in the divine. And if you want to have a spiritual conversation with the sister, now you know where to find her. She at a shop. It's the Peace of Mind. Go ask questions. Okay. All right. See y'all. Thank you so much for tuning in. And we'll catch you next Friday for Free Your Mind Friday with the Healing Academy. And we'll catch you on Tuesday too at 6 p.m. for the Breathe experience. I holla. See y'all later.